Hey there, boys and girls. This is T with Doujin Drops, and I'm joined by my host over here.
Oh, and I'm Jay. Hello.
Yeah, and we're back to you with another episode of Doujin Drops. So, it seems that we finally got some good news in terms of an anime that's been on a bit hiatus, been in that gray zone for a while, and that is Konosuba.
Oh, yes. I know, pretty much by the time of this recording, most people have probably already heard the news, but I have seen a lot of misinterpretation on the internet. A lot of people seem to think it's a season 3, but as of right now, it hasn't really been confirmed. It really could be anything. It could be an OVA, a movie, or a season 3.
Yeah. But then, me and Jay discussed offline, we kind of pieced together of like there's a high Snoop Dogg high probability of a season 3 because Isekai Quartet, there is going to be a movie for that, and then I think ReZero's just wrapped up their season, right, and they might get another season. I think Overlord, right, Jay? Is it getting another season?
Yeah, Overlord and Evil Tanya, they're getting a new season. Isekai Quartet is getting a movie. And, it's like you mentioned, ReZero pretty much just wrapped up its, it's their second season. So, there's some lighting outside. Wonderful. Well,
lightning.
Yeah, so just based on those signs, we can kind of, me and T are pretty confident it's probably going to be a third season.
And if you think about it, like, to even give you more evidence on it, so all those other animes that start in Isekai Quartet, they are getting, another season, or they have high hopes for another season at this point, or they're getting.
I just discussed this.
Oh yeah. No. I'm getting to that. That's the thing, is that so with that in mind, we also have to where season 1 and season 2 only covered up to volume 5 or so volumes for the actual Konosuba light novels, and the Konosuba light novel, the main series, is technically done. But it has 17 volumes, 17 smackaroonies. So, like Jay, told me earlier, they can't be making a movie or something like that off the, was it Eris arc, right? Because Eris arc is too short.
The Eris arc is pretty short, and I kind of want a season 3 because a movie they just take a while to come out here.
I'd rather take.
I'm sure when it comes out in Japan. Well, we'd have to wait just a week or two before Funimation does a theatrical release.
Well, if you think about it, I think with Demon Slayer, right? The Demon Slayer movie, the Mugen Train movie, it came out in Japan a year or so ago, right? Way before it got to the US, but it took them almost an entire year to officially release it to, the US. So,
yeah, which is very disappointing, and it's really the reason why I don't advocate for, I don't really support an anime movie project unless the whole series is already wrapped up, and they're making kind of like an OVA type movie.
I don't
like with Naruto. How they got a bunch of movies out, but none of them are canon.
I don't know, man. I'd rather take an anime series rather than a movie, because remember what happened with the Girls and Panza?
Yeah.
Like you told me last time with the Girls and Panza?
Oh, yes. Previously, off the record and off the podcast, me and T were pretty much disappointed. Well, I was very disappointed with the direction Girls and Panzer took. Instead of making another season, they just decided to make 7 movies.
I know, right?
Yeah, and so far, the whole arc, they pretty much turned it into several movie adaptations, which kind of disappointed me because I kind of don't like how they split the French, their battle with the French team. They split it into 2 movies.
Yep, but you can't lie though, is that with the movies, there were some good characters in that movies, but we're still going on Konosuba though. We'd rather have an anime series than a movie. You get much more beef with an anime series rather than just a movie.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I feel like asking for a season 3 is already too much because we've been waiting for a third season for a while. But it would be even nicer if the third season would have like what 20, 24, 26 episodes. That'd be great. Kind of like the Great Jai-sama.
Yeah.
Be defeated.
Well, let's be honest here. 24 is stretching it, right? But let's get at least 13 episodes, like the anime standard, rather than this bullshit.
No, the anime standard is 12.
I know 12 or 13. Just 12 or 13. But let's be honest here. I'd rather have that than that bullshit 10 minutes in one OVA like thing they had with season 1 and season 2 of Konosuba, because I was all like, why you do this? Why you bully me?
That is very true.
But anyways, Jay, now I saw it, but you saw it too. Dragon Maid S episode 2.
Oh, the second season. Yeah, it was actually very interesting. I kind of was surprised. Like, they pretty much like where episode 1 left off. Well, actually, this is spoiler. We're going into spoiler territory right here.
Oh yeah. So spoilers. Boom, 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 boom. Spoilers, everyone.
Yes. Kind of like where episode 1 ended. It made it look like they gave Miss Kobayashi. They turned her into a futa.
Well,
and
no,
then,
I want to
say it was true.
I want to say she's a futa because she's a man at that point. If you think about futa's kind of like she's still a girl, but she has a dick.
I mean, she is a girl. She still has a dick.
Well, mentally she's a girl, but like biologically she's a legit dude. But remember, look how she acted when Toru came out in that bath towel. She was all like Hank Hill. Whoa! She was like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of true. But I wouldn't really say she was biologically a man. I mean, she's biologically a woman. She just got that futa dick.
Okay.
Like, I think you probably meant to say it the other way around because
not really.
She's more mentally kind of like, she just thinks like a guy. That's just my hot take on it. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty good. I like how it was pretty much confirmed that Lulu isn't really a lolly.
Yeah, of course, kind of like talked about that already, but it's more along the lines of like how the episode like progressed. Well, you know how like she's basically they put her in a lot of like very antsy sexual situations, right? And Miss Kobayashi's like, have to hold it in, I'ma check, and I'm like, ooh. But it was funny when she was when Toru was like, let's do it, I know you're a man, and then she took it off, and then
oh yeah, and Toru found out.
and then
that was actually pretty.
And Miss Kobayashi's like, oh, boner killer. Well, what happened? You took off your maid outfit. Oh, can't, a sacrilege. Why'd you do it?
I felt like that was kind of whack how she did that, but I mean, she does have a maid fetish, so.
Yeah. But then there's also that fact when, like, then that that soldier or assassin from Elma's faction tried to hunt down and yeet Lulu, but through the power of friendship, Miss Kobayashi helped defend her, and then Toru kind of jumped in. But then after that, she kind of like nosebleed, and they're like, oh no, Miss Kobayashi, you all right? Don't worry, I'll lick you. Like
that long ass tongue.
No. The thing is, like, when she said lick, right? I just got reminded. It even sounded a little bit like Kakuin from freaking JoJo. He's like, I was like, I like this. I enjoy this.
Oh yeah, definitely. For me, when she did that, I was like, oh well, I guess now I know why Miss Kobayashi keeps up with her antics.
Wait, what about the Metopia hands that freaking Lulu had? She was like, hey, can you like turn your hands back to like human hands to grab that? All right, bam, Metopia hands.
She technically had human hands.
No, but like, yeah, but it was nasty though. It was like tiny miniature microscopic hands.
It was hilarious, and you know it.
That was creepy. I was like, like how do you hold? It's like Powerpuff Girls. Like, how do you hold stuff with that? It's like them holding chopsticks, but you're like, where are your fingers?
Well, I mean, remember she had hands on, like she had little tiny hands on those little Metopia hands.
So, what did you think about that episode, though? All in all, though.
Yeah, it was actually pretty. It was pretty lighthearted. It's Still think it's kind of weird how Lulu's from the Chaos faction, which that is Toru's faction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just find it kind of weird that they're at odds at each other.
Well,
It kind of whacks me out that there's factions within factions.
well,
that kind of.
she's still part of the faction, but she's just a radical part of the faction. Like, she's just the radical
which
person.
Which is implying there's a sub faction inside the faction.
I mean, guess you could say that, but it more whacks me out that like Toru's not as sympathetic to her of why she hates humans. I mean, if you saw the episode, she basically has like Nam flashbacks from her like PTSD with all those interactions with humans and the war that's essentially happening over there. But you know how Dragon Maid is. You're like, ooh, war crimes, PTSD. Whoop, nope, none of that.
Yeah, it tries to be more lighthearted than go too deep into it. I mean, it's kind of nice that they gave her a little backstory. I think what I really did not like is, me personally in the franchise, I like Elma. For me, she's best girl.
Yeah, she's best girl.
What I don't like is that I guess you could say, I don't like how they kind of like some creepy pedophile looking motherfucker is part of her faction.
I know, he's like, ho. I thought it was
it's like that. It's like that very generic evil priest type.
He looks like is he a vampire? Because he had like fangs. That's the thing.
No, he had a horn.
Well, he still did had fangs though too. So I don't know. Like you said, he's kind of.
I think it was like a half hybrid, and there's no way anyone can't tell me that Toru did not kill that man.
Yeah,
there's just no way.
Probably killed that man. Like yeet, because she bitch slapped Miss Kobayashi. She's like, ooh. She's like, ah.
Oh yeah, that's like a war crime for Toru.
Exactly. Oh, but I do have something else though. So. The detective is already dead. Oh, that's like so last time I said that I was going to watch it, and I did. And here's my thoughts on it. 46 minutes first episode, which is rare. Kind of really rare. Like the only other anime that I know that did that was Hellsing Ultimate, right, Jay? But they did it for that first episode. And then every episode after that is, the usual 24 minutes, right? Now, I can tell you this. Siesta, the main chick, aka short hair Elena, I call her, she is waifu bait. Cute as hell, my god. It's like, this is like meme worthy and like, little like snippets of fan art right there. It's some good shit. Now, as I was watching it, they had a lot of good music. Like the music reminded me a lot of like Bunny Girl Senpai and Haruhi Suzumiya. Like it reminded me a lot. Like the music was very good. It fit almost every scene, right? And during that entire 46 minutes, there's no animation drop. Now the thing is about the anime is that like the main dude is the Watson to his, to her, like, Sherlock Holmes, right? Because she's a detective, right? And he becomes her, I guess her sidekick reluctantly, but the banter that they have, right? The chemistry those two have, bruh, is kind of hard, like, to not ship them together. Like, and when you watch the first episode, Jay, you see what I'm talking about. You're like, this is some good shit here. This is some
right. And you also mentioned the first episode was like over 40 minutes long.
Yeah. And it's like
that's pretty good. That's pretty rare.
Yeah, they have more. What I say why it's like Haruhi, because Haruhi Suzumiya had kind of like a supernatural, mysterious vibes, and like things aren't what they seem, right? Like there's espers, time travelers, and all that. So there's
like some Rick and Morty type stuff.
Yeah, some Rick and Morty type of shit. But like the detective's already dead has that same vibe, and I'm like, that's some good stuff. The dialogue is very, very great. Now, you might have those moments where you're like, the fuck? Well, how the hell is she doing that? Because she has a gadget, and you're like, oh, it's just her tool, Jay. It's just her tool. She's using that, and you're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. She's breaking the laws of physics. You're like, it's It's her tool, man. Now, the first 20 minutes, like I said, basically, first 20 minutes, action, kind of action-packed, good detective-like. Then the last 30 minutes, the last 15, 10-ish minutes, right, is mainly, like, they're back at, like, the school festival. But they're still solving a mystery, though. Not as dire and serious as the first mystery, but the second mystery is still pretty nice, and it makes sense. There is no, like, some random bullshit they pull out of thin air type of thing going on there. Now, the sad part about this series, though, is that there's only a few volumes for the light novel for this show, right? So I don't know how far they'll go, or like if they're even going to have a season 2 if the show ends up being really good. You know how most shows, when they have like is really good, right, the first season, but they kind of go on a hiatus, you're like, well, fuck, I'm just left here where like
it's not just that. It's either they go on a they just go on an infinite hiatus, or I mean, for the most part, most of them are just promotional anime. They're trying to promote the book.
Yeah,
I know Mayusha was promoting the light novel, and that was pretty sad because I kind of wanted, like, it just ended really badly. It ended on a really big cliffhanger, and anime tends to do that a lot.
Yeah,
just leave you hanging by the balls
and just leave you with your dick out, and you're like, what now? What do I do?
Right. But some franchises out there are just so popular, they just need another season because most, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they go based off of merchandise sales.
I'm not too sure on that, but I think that has something to do with it too. Like, I don't think that's the only thing, but I think that is a significant part of it. But Jay, it's just that even if this series is like, ends up being like great the entire like journey, right? And so far, the first episode is really great. Is that, what are they gonna do with season 2? They're gonna have to wait for the light novels to release, because there really isn't that much light novels. It's like under 10 of them, So that's the thing. But also a little treat from the detectives already dead, right? Is that the main character is kind of like Jay. You watched a certain magical index, right?
I've only watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't really think it was my cup of tea, so I just stopped watching.
Okay, the main guy, the guy who basically like,
the spiky hair dude.
Spiky hair, like, dude that negates powers, and he's basically has his own harem for some reason, right? But apparently bad luck is like always on his side. So the main MC for the detective is already dead. I think his name is Kimi, right? The thing is, he's like the main MC from Magical Index fused with Kion from freaking Haruhi, because like, here's the thing, is that he's not dumb, he's not retarded, right, or any fact like socially at all.
Well, I mean, obviously he wouldn't, because he's an assistant to a detective.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like, that's before he even met the detective to begin with, because like the dialogue and the back and forth they have, right, with each other, the little banter is actually pretty like funny, and this is well written. I'm like, I enjoy this, and then I'm telling you, man, you can easily see how you're like, I ship these two together, right? But at the end of the series, at the end of the first episode, they say that by the time like the series actually starts, she has died some time ago already, like 4 years prior. So I'm like, oh crap. I mean, like, is this like a permanent death, small death, just some like plot device death? No, like, it's kind of like not. Yeah, I think I watched the next episode for that for me, but no, there is one treat though. I didn't get to this episode yet. But in episode 3, everyone was going bonkers, losing their fucking minds, right? Over that, the VTubers Natsuhiro and Fubiki, they were both in the 3rd episode of The Detectives Already Dead. Like, they were legitly shown in, their original costumes, and like, I think their actual voice actors.
So it's kind of like how everybody lost their shit when Pekura cameoed in the 2nd season of How to Not Summon a Demon Lord.
Yeah, but like, this time around, the Detectives Already Dead.
It was an official cameo.
It's an official cameo, and she actually, they actually talked. It was like a 20-second like news reel or something like that. But I'm actually like, I enjoy this. This is actually really nice. Nice.
Well, I mean, it would have to be. Like, Hololev's pretty big right now. I don't really see him growing any smaller anytime soon, unless, they become super established. Kind of like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, you know what? I'll just leave it at that. I don't really want to throw my 2 cents into that. Yes, but moving on. So, I know you were talking about buying some doujinshi.
Yeah.
Now we're finally gonna get to the good saucy part.
Yeah, the good stuff, the rated R stuff, the degenerate stuff.
What I wanted to ask is, have you only bought doujinshi from Faku, or have you bought them, from some other source?
Well, I mainly buy my doujinshi from Faku, right? Because the thing is, everyone is that Faku, even though Faku is an American, like, distributor, publisher, and all that, is that they actually work, very closely to the actual, like, hentai artist, and they even bring them over to the States too, to, like, let them experience the States, and even, like, let them meet fans, or, like, just collaborations in general. I'm like, I like that. And not only do they do that, but they bring the artists, like, omnibuses, right, or their best works, put them in one. They translate it really well, like, better than Crunchyroll, I can tell you that. Man, they translate it really well in English, and then after that, they de-censor it, and I'm like, that's some good stuff. It's like you just, like, sniffed a line of, like, Kool-Aid mix. You're like, oh yeah, you're like that. Anyway, yeah, and I was at a con, right, the anime con, and I actually bought like a manga there, and then, like, a very lewd t-shirt, but I liked it so much, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy some more. So I bought some more, but then then I lost 2 of them though. Think I left it outside and something happened to it, like maybe the rain hit it. All I know is I only have 1 now. But I can tell you this, the quality of those hentai mangas are nice, because they still to this day have not yellowed. And you know how with mangas, Jay.
Yeah, so they get that good printing paper. I mean, they would have to, because selling hentai in America is more like a very, very niche thing. Mm-hmm. So of course they're gonna try to make it as high quality as possible. Well, not only to maybe probably make it worth more, but also, just like you said, for the book to last longer.
Mm-hmm. And books to last, and I'm telling you, man, it's actually pretty nice. And, like, it almost, of course, it's in the manga format, right? But it blends in so much that I just hide my my lewds just out in the open. Like, you really had to be looking for it to see it.
Wait, so in this anime convention that you went to, Faku was there selling official merchandise?
Yeah, surprisingly.
That's very surprising, because I know when they... Well, me and my boy T over here, we've been kind of, like, in this, how should I say, social circle for so long, that I remember them only attending the Anime Expo in LA. Mm-hmm. I believe that this was when they first became legit,
Yeah.
Because, back in the day, they were like, they were just like any other hentai manga site.
It's like, here. You kind of just read it for free, and you're like, that's it. But now they have a subscription, but
but they pretty much, went good. Instead of breaking bad, they broke good.
Mm-hmm. It's actually really nice.
They made their business legit. I mean, I still have my gripes with them, but I think we'll probably leave that for another episode.
But, like, the thing is, like, also another site that I also buy lewds from, right, like hentai manga from, right, is J-List.
Of course. I mean, that's where I used to buy all my light novels from.
Yeah. Is there exactly? They're basically
not even light novels. I'm sorry, visual novels.
Yeah, visual novels. Like when they were still on CDs, of course. Before Steam kind of brought them to the masses. Yeah, light novels are also kind of a... Wait, no, visual novels. Visual novels. I'm stupid. Yeah, visual novels, not light novels.
The thing about J-List is I remember buying my very first 2 visual novels from there. I don't remember what the first visual novel was. I just remember it was like a super generic, like, visual novel. But see, it was my first visual novel, so I just thought it was the shit. It came in a CD. Luckily, my custom built PC at the time actually had a disc drive. I know those are going away nowadays, but let's not talk about that.
Yeah, it's basically before all the Steam stuff made it popular.
Well, I mean, Steam was always around. It's just visual novels, when they got translated in English, they weren't on Steam because they were very hard on adult rated stuff.
Ooh, boobies, we can't have that.
Yeah, now I made the unfortunate mistake of when I bought my second visual novel, it was unfortunately School Days, the visual novel. And outside the shitty anime it had, the School Days visual novel was a fucking masterpiece. And it ruined every other visual novel for me.
Because they can never, like, own up to that?
Well, it's kind of hard to top the level of quality that the School Days visual novel did. Like, I can understand why they made it into an anime, but the reason why it sucks so bad was because they try to do all the routes at once. Right, and but with School Days, you can, choose it. It actually had multiple endings, like a lot. Like, I know most visual novels have, like, maybe, like, a really basic one would have, like, 5 or 6 endings. Like, a really, I guess, decent, complicated one would have, like, 10, 15.
I mean...
And I think School Days had, like, 10, 15 endings.
Oh, look, here's another anime, though.
Hold up. Because then what made School Days really legendary was that the visual novel was fully animated. And that's... Yeah, it was pretty much like an anime, and... You just couldn't. I honestly, the only people that came close to topping that was the Telltale games, which are unfortunately no longer around.
I mean, there's Agami SS. That was a good visual novel, and they basically went all routes too. The anime did a really good job on that.
Oh yeah, the anime for Agami SS pretty legendary, but I don't know about the visual novel. I know it's not fully animated, and I think. Because of that, I just think every other visual novel that's not School Days is shit.
Damn.
I tried playing the sequel, Shiny Days. It was okay, and then, let's just not talk about what other sequels they made after that.
Yeah, but like getting off of that, so you recently bought a doujinshi. Let me hear your experience on that. Because you had a trip.
Back to that. Yes, unlike you though, which I think you said you purchased it at an anime convention, and you also purchased them directly from Faku online, right? Because I remember you were telling me you got packages.
And some J-list too.
Yeah. With me, I think this is the problem that I have with Faku, is that they don't do licensed content for obvious reasons. It's copyrighted. Our copyright laws out here kind of suck.
Yeah, it's like, so no like, it has to be all original works, no doujinshis.
Yeah, like Faku for the most part is just all original works, original content, which is actually pretty good too, because, the thing about licensed content is you have to know the franchise before you jump into it, because a lot of times, the authors just go all in. Like, they expect you to know the characters and stuff, but outside of that, I saw one that I really, really liked. I read one. It was licensed content, though. And I just really like this one. I find myself... It was one of those doujinshi that I find myself reading, like, twice every month? Like, 2 times every month? Like, pretty much once every 2 weeks.
That's dedication.
Yeah, it's really rare for me because, like, once I read and watch something, that's it. Like, unless I really, really super loved it, then I'm probably never gonna want to watch it or see it again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because it was a licensed doujinshi, I had to buy it from Japan.
So you bought the raws, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. That the artist only had raws, and it was at like a Japanese only store that did not do any international shipping. So I had the misfortune of trying to use a proxy service. Well, I had to use a proxy service to buy this. Well, pretty much, for those of you that don't know, it's pretty much somebody that lives in that country or operates and does business in that country, and they pretty much go out of their way to, get the stuff that you want, bring it back to their warehouse, and then ship it to you. Now, the thing that sucked was the doujinshi that I bought was 1,500 yen, which is like $13. The yen kind of dropped hard at the time of this recording. But, yeah, so I got this doujin. The thing that really whacked me out is I had to pay for the domestic shipping. So I pretty much had to pay somebody in Japan to online order it for me. And then I had to pay for the shipping for that. Pretty much going from the bookstore where they got the doujinshi to their warehouse, and then from their warehouse, I had to pay the international shipping.
So basically,
so a $13 book ended up costing me like $80 just to bring it here.
I mean, it's worth it, right? Is that fan service?
It was actually worth it, because when I got this book, I was thinking it was gonna have some like really cheap, bad quality, because it's mass product, like pretty much I think licensed content in Japan, because we've never been there, and I'm actually not too sure. I think most of it is self-published, or they go through some publisher that I don't know. But because they're trying to mass market, I'm thinking they're gonna cut on the paper quality. They were just gonna try to cut a lot of strings to make this product as cheap as they can, and they can print as many of them as they can.
Using that?
But no. This was actually super high quality, man. Like, you look at it and it's like that glossy plastic paper, and they even. Like, I think some of the kanji actually, like, has, like, a reflection that makes the kanji change color. That's just how high quality it was. Yeah, it almost looks like it's kind of like the new driver's licenses that we got. You know how they're really, like, colorful?
Yeah.
And they have, like, a lot of reflections. Yeah.
But at the same time, is this one of those lewd mangas that you can, like, hide out in the open, or you gotta hide it?
Well, okay, we live in America. I plead the fifth on this. I refuse to answer that question.
But is that all you got, Jay, on that?
I mean, that was my experience. I mean, personally, the proxy service was very professional. I asked him because I think the artist was advertising it on his Twitter and on his Pixiv that he made an omnibus. And it came with a limited exclusive poster of the Doujin, like one of the Doujin characters. I got fucked over in the poster, because when I got it, like I did ask them before they buy it. I was like, "Hey, is this a physical copy, and does it have a poster?" They were like, "Yes, we've confirmed this is a physical copy, and it does come included with a poster." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet." When I got it, the physical copy was there. Super amazing, super happy with that.
No poster?
The problem was the poster wasn't from the manga. I think it was from the store, and that kind of bummed me out. I was like,
It was kind of like one of those like small ass like. Was it big poster? Small poster?
No. It was like a small poster. It was like almost the size of a postcard. Like, grab two postcards, put them together. That was the size.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of more like you leave it, like you put it behind your desk or put it on the wall behind your desk.
Yeah, it was more like it was more like a memorabilia or something. But I was very disappointed with that. But I mean, the proxy service was actually very professional. They got back to me within 24 hours, so I was actually super happy with that. It's just
that cost.
I had to pay them just to get all this stuff here.
You had to pay the troll toll.
Yeah, I had to pay the middleman. But other than that, I mean, do you have anything else to add, T?
No, that's about it on my end. So, all right, boys and girls, wrapping it up here. I'm T.
And I'm Jay, and hey, stay tuned for that next episode. It's going to be an interesting one.